You know something? I don't even know if you know this. Um, T3. I found an audio recording. It's the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. Um, it's an audio recording, and I guess I'm assuming that you're holding a video camera. You guys
Oh,
are in a car together, and this is the only I only know the audio part of it. And you, Dilla's driving, and you ask him a question. You say, "Hey, man, what's the day?"
oh yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you know about this? Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
jars me every time I hear it. You're like, "Hey, what's the day, man?" And Dilla's like, "Oh, I don't know, Thursday." He said, "Nah, man, what's the day?" And Dilla's like, "Oh, okay, it's February 10th." He's like, "Yeah, and what's the day?" He's like, "Yeah, man, February 10th is the first day that we're making our new album, Fantastic Volume 2, baby." And y'all just talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And man, I'm just like, it it really, I was like, wow, just because for a lot of us, February 10th being the day of his transitioning is such a thing for those that follow his music so closely. But just can you just talk about just the excitement, but to hear that clip and the excitement of you guys like talking about your future and all those things, like, would that often happen?
Yeah. I mean, we had to. You got to understand this. First of all, Slum Village had to wait for Dilla to blow because Dilla is, you know what I'm saying. So I was still kind of hungry and broke, me and 10, and Dilla was
Right.
he making money already. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we had to wait on that. So we had to be patient. So for the day for us all to come together and say, this is the official day for us to work on this. Shout out to Wendy Goldstein, who was lacing a lot of us at that time.
Yes,
Trust
sir.
me, I know. Wendy Goldstein was that
Yeah,
was my saving grace too.
yes, that's what I'm saying. She laced us all, and we got that opportunity to really just go in there and do it. And guess what? We had no guidance. You know what I'm saying? They just let us do what we want to do, and which is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to RJ now for solidifying that deal. I wish. Now I think about it, we had a couple of deals on the table. I wanted to go with Def Jam in my heart because we did have a possible situation with Def Jam, but we decided to go with who we went with, which was our
Really?
yes.
So there was a Def Jam deal on the table and Interscope and any other labels or
It was about five, I think, Universals.
okay.
Yeah, we had some deals, but we just chose what we chose, and I think we went with A&M first, which was
Yeah.
terrible. Most Love Village.
Did
That
you
was
guys did you guys at all work with John McClain?
John McClain is the one who was like part of getting the deal at A&M.
John McClain is one of those figures that even I'm working on the Slide doc right now, and he's a part of Sly's '80s. Attempted several attempts to come back or whatnot, but he's one of those brothers that's so elusive in terms of like talking to the press or whatever. Like what were your interactions like with John McClain?
well.
Did you interact with him through?
I didn't have many. I was mostly your dad and management talking to him. I was really brief. The
Okay.
Indiana I had, so that was mostly RJ and Tim Maynard. Mostly spoke to him most of the time. I was
Okay.
out of business. I was such a studio nerd. That's what I was at.
How did that deal fall apart? Because I thought I saw a tangible version of what I thought was a Fantastic Volume 2 on Interscope. Later found out it was a bootleg or whatever. But how did that?
I'm gonna tell you how it fell apart. This is how. No disrespect, but what happened was Barack. He decides to do a double album.
Oh no.
Corruption joint.
The
Yeah.
West versus the East.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That album shut down the whole rap department because the
Over
lack of
budget.
yes. And guess who
boy.
was coming right next after that? It was Slum Village.
Right.
So it was then the bootleg on top of that, it was like, well, the only thing we could do, I guess we're gonna go start touring in Europe. So we was able to tour in Europe in '99. That was super early for us to go down there, do our first European tour, which was an ordeal too, because Dilla acted like he lost his passport for a while because he didn't want to go, because he had to finish some remixes. It was like, man, Village was just going through.
Oh, I can't find my passport. Oh shit. What the fuck? So yeah, I was about to say how. So this is also the period in which like he's gonna leave the group or whatever. How? So explain how you go through the second, like just the readjusting the group without him on stage with you.
Well, he didn't. He said he would do select shows. He was going to do the West Coast. He was going to do Detroit, and maybe something else. And that was all he was. Even when we was doing the OK Player Unit, you know what I'm saying. So
well, we got him for 2 shows at least.
Right. We got him for 2 shows. Right. So that's all he was going to do, because he wanted to catch up with all his work at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because he was hot, and people wanted those remixes like ASAP. So, you know, he was doing all that. Then he was producing on different albums. So he just wasn't there. Now, the whole thing when he decided to leave, you know what I'm saying? We had a brand new deal on the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the whole Capitol deal. So it was like, where you going? We got a whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But he decides to go and does the MCA deal, you know what I'm saying, with Frank and Dank, and get his own label situation popping over there. So, I mean, he said and told me, man, you're going to have to take over the group, man. I did not want to, because I enjoy being the middleman. By the way, you know, less pressure. I can just go on 1, 2 and be gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. You know, so it was hard to restructure. So one of the main pieces I had is all the people at the studio, and one of the main people was Young Jay. So me and him was already bonding over beats and doing stuff, and then Baatin, you know, was barely showing up. Kind of like dealing with Malik B. You don't even know what he gonna record to. The most random stuff that we wasn't even working on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He had this machine in the back, and he would just make songs all day in these machines from the randomest beats. I don't know, you know, someone was YG, someone was this, someone was that. You just didn't know. And we tried to piece this album together. And it was a difficult process. You know what I'm saying? But we got through it. You know, luckily, that's how we got close with Kareem, and Kareem contributed, and Young J and Black Milk, you know, coming up and all this at one time. And, you know, I had to mix it up. I had to make some magic.